Hello everyone, welcome to another live video. In this one, talking about the creepiest thing about narcissists. Because let's keep it real, narcissists are very creepy characters. They're very weird, they're very strange. And the creepiest thing about them is how they like people to be unaware of their games, of their tactics. They like people to not know what is going on. They like people who are innocent, naive, unaware. People who don't understand. People who haven't got special information, knowledge or awareness. And it's not that you're unaware or that you lack consciousness. That's not what this is. It's that you're unaware of a certain reality. But even then they say reality, but it's not really reality at all. It's an alternate reality, an alternate world, a fantasy, where in their minds they are all knowing, they are all powerful. They see everything. They are aware. That's how they want you to feel. That's what they want you to think, as though they are powerful. Now that's how sometimes they have the ability to shock you, to scare you, to intimidate you, to cause inconvenience or disruption, because they're operating from an alternate reality. They're operating from an alternate world, a world which you are not a part of, because we're not predators. We're not looking to exploit people. We don't do the things that they do. Now that's how it may seem, as though, at least to them, that we lack consciousness, that we lack awareness. When it's just that we lack the consciousness or awareness of their games, their tricks. And why did they develop these games, these tricks? It's because they couldn't hack it in reality. So that's just it. Anytime you see someone who's playing a game, someone who's deceiving you, exploiting you, taking advantage of your unawareness, they are not grounded in reality. They are not there with you. And they're trying to pull you into their fantasy world. Now this is the creepiest thing about narcissists. This is what makes them predators. It's that they're in a completely different world, where they're seeking power, they're seeking control. And they're seeking power and control from external things, rather than something inside of them. And that's how they have to seek power over you. They have to control you, because they feel very insecure. So they've got to get this from you. And they do this by creating an alternate reality, an alternate world which does not make sense in reality. And it doesn't make sense, which is why they have to teach you these things. It has to be taught to you. And it's something that is based on their childhood trauma. But you cannot go there with them. You cannot exist in their fantasy world. Not without a false character. So they manipulate you, they deceive you, which simultaneously imposes a false character onto you. It allows you to access the fantasy world. But then what happens after a certain amount of time is that you begin to feel very alone. You don't feel good about yourself because you can't go there with them. And they just extract your qualities, your characteristics, by imposing a false character onto you, to where you're then able to access the fantasy world. Because by doing that, it then strips you of your qualities, your characteristics, and then it gives them to them. But they also can't use those characteristics genuinely, because that's not really them. They abandon their true self to exist in this fantasy world, where they can then manipulate and deceive people. So it only acts as a mask, which they can only use for a certain amount of time. And then after that it goes away, and that's where they have to hoover you to get more of that, so that they can continue manipulating you and other people as well. So that's the basis of it. That's what these narcissists are doing out to you. That's what they're trying to accomplish. And it's actually very dangerous, because they're in this fantasy world where they're grandiose, they're omnipotent, they're all powerful. Anything outside of their world, they just don't even take it seriously. It's a joke to them. They look at us like we're ants. And that is not determined by your success, your money or power, or your physical attractiveness. It has nothing to do with that. It's just because you're not existing in their fantasy world. Now, other people may be, if they also have a false character. If they're also narcissistic, then they may be in the fantasy world. So then they look at those people not so much as their equals, but more as their minions. People who work on their behalf. So this is what these narcissists are doing out here. Let me know if you relate. Let me know if this is what you think you've seen from the narcissist. Let me know if this is what they've been doing to you. Let me know if you think this is a creepy thing about them. Or if you know any other creepy traits about narcissists. Let me know down below. Let's talk about the creepiness. Let's talk about the things that make your skin crawl. The things that give you goosebumps, but not in a good way. In a way that makes you feel very uncomfortable. In a way that makes your skin crawl. Let's talk about it. Let me know in the live chat. And let me know if you have any questions as well. I will read them out. As you may have noticed in my last live video, I was at the airport. And now you can see I'm here again in Manila. This apartment before. So I'm back here again. And why did I come back here? I came back mainly because I want to see the other provinces here. Maybe see some beaches, go into the jungle, just explore. But unfortunately at this moment, as I'm changing my AdSense, I'm not getting any ad revenue. So it may be difficult for me to fund that trip and go to the provinces. But you are welcome to donate so that I can go there, film videos and show you everything. And you can donate by going to my PayPal, which is paypal.me/Narc Survivor. Ronnie says, we all live a balanced life. Narcissists just want to turn your life upside down for their pathetic entertainment. Very true, Ronnie. And the reason why they find joy in that, the reason why it's such a thrill for them to turn your life upside down, even though it may seem as though for them everything's going to be perfectly in order, everything's going to be the way they want it to be, they got to feel comfortable, and yet they've got to turn your life upside down. They're going to mess your mind up because their minds are messed up. And this is why they have to create disorder in your life, because their minds are disordered. There's no peace inside their heads. And of course, they don't feel comfortable when they see you at peace, when they see you comfortable. So again, they seek control outside of themselves through you, by destabilizing you. CS says, I see them acting how I used to act, adopting my interests even though they are not actually naturally interested in those things. Yeah, it can seem very creepy when they're mirroring you. The creepiest part about the mirroring is when they hoover you later on. So they've been with you, they've already mirrored you, and then they discard you. And then when they come back, they're still using the old things that you used to like to mirror you. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is one of the creepiest things about them. I mean, you may have been with them before, and you may have liked certain things back then. You may have had certain interests, certain music that you were interested in, certain movies, hobbies, wherever it may be. And then maybe they discarded you, maybe they came back 1 year later, 2 years later, after you're no longer interested in those things, and now you're into something else. And yet they're coming back with the same things from back then. And it can look so creepy. It's almost like a pedophile. The way that they come back, and it's like they're dressed the way that you were dressed back then, months or even years ago, and they're listening to music that was popular years ago, that you liked before, that you may not be interested in now. Of course, it's so creepy when they come back like that, and they come back trying to look cool, trying to look trendy, as though they fit in with you. When they don't, it's just an act. And it's very predatory. They do it to exploit you. It's not because that's what they like, that's what they're interested in. It's to groom you. And it looks so creepy, so weird when they do that. I mean, you don't notice it initially when they mirror you the first time, but when they hoover you, they come back the second time, and they're still using old tactics, they're still using things that they mirrored from you before. And it's like you've got this person who's like outdated, several years behind. They're several years in the past. It can look so creepy. CS says, why do they get upset when I make a funny or witty comment and the room laughs? Oh, they just don't like you getting attention. They can't stand people looking at you. They can't stand people liking you. They can't stand the spotlight being on you. They want the spotlight to be on them at all times. They want everything to be about themselves. Because they feel unwanted, they feel unattended to. They feel like people don't want them, so they don't want people looking at you, they want everyone to look at them. They want everyone to notice them. Well, that could be with a funny comment, that could be with anything. Whatever it is, they've got to have all the attention. Even if you're sick, suddenly they're more sick. Suddenly it's all about them now and they need more support than you do. Now they're the sickest person in the world. Now they need treatment. There may not have been anything wrong with them before. But that's just it. COVID narcissists, they've got to have all of the attention. Even though they're undeserving of it, they've got to have it. No matter how it's going for you, I mean, maybe you got promoted at work. They've got a bigger, better promotion. Or maybe you reached a new record on a weightlifting activity at the gym. They lifted more than you. Or their friend did, or they did 10 years ago. There's always something. They have to outdo you in some way, good or bad. Because that's how they feel powerful. That's how they get to exist as a false character in their fantasy world. Mimi Reese says, mine wanted to be me, and it was so creepy. It was always in my space, and in my face, and in my way. Made me so uncomfortable, isolated me, took my car keys so I couldn't leave to go for a walk. That sounds horrible, Mimi Reese. I'm sorry you had to go through that. And yes, it does sound creepy. Someone always in your space. You've got to have your own personal private space. You can't have someone all in there all the time. But yeah, that's what they do. They smother you. And especially when they feel like it's unwanted, they smother you more. They suffocate you. Because they enjoy that feeling they get from containing you, from making you feel uncomfortable. And they isolate you because they want to be your only source of influence. And then they'll do anything they can to prevent you from leaving as well. They will sabotage you, discredit you, turn people against you, do whatever they have to do. Because they want all of your attention to be on them because you are pure. You're unaware of their tricks, you're unaware of their games, and that's how they're able to deceive you. That's how they're able to pull the wool over your eyes. Because you're unaware of it, you're pure, you're innocent. And they take advantage of that. An inhabitant of the shiny stone hell says they have passengers. Demon infested. Yeah. A narcissist may not have their driver's license, they may not have car insurance, but they've got to drive the car with you as a passenger. And they don't care about what happens to you, they don't care if they crash. If they do, they just blame you. If they do, it's all your fault. It's never anything to do with them. And that's how you can be sure. Of course they're going to crash again. Of course they're going to blame someone else again. Of course they're going to play the victim. Nice Today says they enjoy the pain and suffering of others, even if they don't know you. Very scary. Yeah, that's just it. They don't have to know you because it's got nothing to do with you. It's just a fantasy character inside their minds. They've idealized you. They view you as perfect. And while, yes, many of you, you're wonderful, beautiful people. We all are, but we're not perfect. We do have flaws. We do have insecurities. But they have to view you this way initially. That's what draws them to you. And yes, I mean, there could be something about you that reveals flaws, defects in them. It triggers them to reflect on their own insecurities. And that's when they then lash out at you. Then they devalue you. Then they start to enjoy your suffering. Epileptic Brother says the Petophile Brotherhood works with Hollywood. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's in the music industry. It's in Hollywood. It's in fashion. It's everywhere now. I mean, all of the corruption is drugs, alcohol, theft, just all of the things that they promote in the media today, and they glorify it. They try to get you to see it as something good. Infinite Abundance says the bridge is burned. When that bridge is burned, trust and believe that it's more painful for them. But this is what they do, they burn the bridge. They're not satisfied until they burn the bridge, and once they do, then they're not happy about it. Then they want their bridge back. But it's too late, it's gone. "117 live viewers. Give it a thumbs up if you find it helpful so far. Epileptic Welder says cannibals are real. Yes, cannibals are real. They're actually out there. They actually exist. And narcissists are cannibals of your mind and soul. They consume you in every possible way, other than physically. But in a psychological way, yes, narcissists are cannibals as well. They consume the life and energy out of us. There's a lot of people having identity crises in the live chat, it seems. All this talk about appearances. Inhabitant of the Shiny Stone Hellers says, I would notice when he'd caused drama, he felt relief. That's right, they feel relieved when they cause drama. Chaos, disruption. That makes them feel better about themselves. When they see you down, when they see you confused, when they see you miserable. Because it uplifts the fantasy character, the false self. It lets them live in their fantasy world. But what they won't do is sit down and have a normal conversation with you. They won't be vulnerable, they won't connect with you, because by doing that, they're not in their fantasy world anymore. Then they got to be in reality. And of course, they're never going to do that. But as for us, that's the only thing we want to do. We just want answers, we want an understanding. Many of you do, I know, but the problem is you will never get that from them. You're never going to get closure from a narcissist. They're never going to tell you why they do the things they do. They're never going to reveal that to you. So if you want answers, if you want validation, if you want closures for why they did what they did, you just got to look at their behavior. You just got to realize that they're not trying to correct anything, and that's going to tell you everything you need to know. Yes, we got a moderator in here. Faithful Crocs, makeup artist. Welcome to the live chat. Sheila Ray says, my mind is being consumed day and night. Yeah, these narcissists, they are like cannibals. They will consume you mentally, emotionally, and psychologically. You just got to take a leaf out of their book and realize that by them consuming you, it's making them feel better. Maybe if you consume yourself, maybe if you consume a bit of your own time, energy, then you will feel a bit better too. And when you do that, typically they will come back to idealize you again. They're not going to devalue you if you're feeling good about yourself, unless they have the opportunity to coerce you, intimidate you back into submission. Usman Ali says, bro, tell me what to do. I have 3 children with a drama queen narcissist who's flying monkey his own brother. Now for these kinds of, these are quite complicated situations. When you have 3 children with a narcissist and her brother is a flying monkey, I advise booking a one-on-one with me so we can talk about it in more detail. Niviri says, yes, they stir up chaos and triangulate and sit back with a smirky smile and watch it all play out. It's exactly what they do. They love it. They love to cause drama, chaos, disturb and disrupt things, and then just sit back and watch everyone going through it. And while you may catch on to it, after a while you may become aware. A lot of other people don't even seem to see it. They don't even realize how they're just pawns on a chessboard. They're just being moved into position. They're being used for an abusive purpose. But not only are they abusing you, they are also abusing themselves. Kathleen Kirby says, they're sadistic. They receive pleasure from your pain. Yes, they do. They get off on your displeasure, dissatisfaction, misery, and misfortune. That brings them joy. That makes them feel better about themselves because they cannot be happy with you. How can they? And they've got a false character, they've got a fantasy world. The only way they can feel happy is if they impose a false character on you. They're not going to be there with you. They're not going to feel good with you. It's going to feel good for you and not for them. Because they've still got this false character. They're still in this fantasy world. And you're finding peace, you're finding fulfillment in reality. Something that they can't do. Nice Today says you can't connect with a narcissist. Talking with them feels like talking with a recorded audio. Yeah, that's because a lot of the things that they say are scripted. They're just things that they have heard other people say. Or the things that they have seen in movies, and they take it out of these lines. They scan people's language, facial expressions, tone of voice. And then they just feed it back to you. They mirror it to you. They mirror someone else, or they mirror people in movies, actors, celebrities. They mirror them, and then they put another mirror to your direction. And that's why when you're receiving it, it seems so scripted. It seems like a recorded audio. It seems like something you have seen before. Goblin Morning says, I'll die for what I believe in. Because you only live once, and imagination is our weapon, our personal heaven in our minds. That's right, that's what we've got to do. That's what I'm going to do, and that's what I've said I'm going to do. I said I was going to do that in past live videos. And that's what I've been doing up until this day. There is no one out there in this world who can turn me away from my beliefs, who can strip me of my values, who can make me deny what matters to me. There's no one out there who can do that. There's no one out there who can do that to me. I will die for what I believe in. So yeah, I'm with you, Golden Morning. Well, you're a Nuth. Says they lie and look for leeway and easier way to call you out. Like it's you and no one else is in the wrong. I know of a liar calling on Doug Tafer. Yeah, I mean, this is parts of the disorder, why they do this. Because they idealize you, they view you as perfect, it blocks out everything else. I mean, there's so many people out there who are bad and may have done things wrong to them. But none of those people matter when you're around because they idealized you. You revealed the faults and defects in their false character. So now they've got to take you out. They've got to shut you down. Because you're revealing the faults and defects in them. You're making them look bad. And they want to take the heat off themselves. So they're going to put that onto you. And what better way for them to do that than to point the finger at you and blame you for everything? And make you feel like you're a bad person who's done something wrong. That's what they do. The Jord is you. In the live chats, welcome to Jord. Inhabitant of the shiny stone hell says the idiot, triple the mortgage instead of paying it off. Yeah, you could make an agreement with a narcissist. You could say that you'll take care of the children, you pay for all of the bills. All they got to do is take care of the mortgage, you take care of everything else. And they will triple it. They will rack it up with interest, and then 10 years later, they will leave it to you. Well, you'll be taking care of everything else. They will make it your problem, they will make it your fault. No, it's not a third world country. It's, well, it's kind of like a second world country. But you know how it is in a lot of countries that were underdeveloped maybe just a few decades ago. They developed very rapidly over the past few decades, and I think it's really just to keep up with other parts of the world. So it's kind of like the main part of the city appears developed, but then when you look closely, when you look around at certain things, you pay attention to the details, it's kind of just like a mask. And that's the sad thing about it. You go to many cities in the world, they appear developed, and then you see homeless people everywhere. You see people without a job. You see people who aren't given the rights and opportunities that they deserve. So it's not really fully developed. But then saying that, most countries in the world are like this. Nice today says, make sure to keep your emotional thinking low so your brain can work. Yeah, that's something that Ross Rosenberg has mentioned in his videos. That's his grey rock observed or absorbed technique. Because the narcissist is always there. They're always trying to inject you with poison, just so that they can stand back and then call you crazy. And that's why you've got to imagine that you've got a shield made of Teflon that protects you from the poison, so that you don't let it become a part of you. Because as George Bernard Shaw once said, never wrestle with pigs. You might get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it. Yeah, let's get these thumbs. Let's get these thumbs up for the video. I'm spitting real truths tonight. I'm giving you this vital information, these tactics that you need to know, that you need to be aware of. So let's get this out there so that other people can see it as well. But yeah. These narcissists are creepy. They're creepy because they like it when you're unaware. They like it when they can get one over on you. They like it when they can ruthlessly exploit you. They like it when they can do things to you and make you feel bad about it. Make you feel like there's something wrong with you. But there isn't anything wrong with you. The only thing wrong is that you are around them. The only thing wrong is that you got tricked, you got deceived, you got manipulated. That's the only thing that was wrong, and that was not your fault. That wasn't your fault because you weren't aware of it. You didn't know what was going on. And they did those things to you. They hurt you, they tricked you, they deceived you. And at the time you couldn't really do much about it because you weren't aware of it. You were not thinking in that way, but they were. They were thinking in that way. They were already aware of that. They were already on that wavelength because at some point that was what was done to them by their parents. They were invalidated, they were gaslighted, they were rejected, abandoned, neglected. All these things were done to them. So now they're on that wavelength. They'll always be on that wavelength. They'll always be thinking that way. They'll always be thinking about how they can do to you what was done to them in their childhood. That's what they'll always be thinking about. Because they want to make you feel the way that they do. They want to hurt you just as they were hurt all that time ago. And it continues to hurt them. It continues to get under their skin. Because while they may be on that wavelength already of tricking and deceiving people who are unaware, who do not understand what is going on, they never get that satisfaction. They never get the type of reaction that they really want. It's never enough for them. It never does what they want it to do for them. But they keep going, they keep trying. They stick that knife in you as much as they can. But it's never enough, it never fulfills them. There's narcissists out there who may have murdered their victims and they're still not happy. Because that's not going to do anything. They might medicate them initially, but it doesn't treat the actual wound. The wound is still there. So if anything, by them trying to numb themselves, it makes them feel even worse. Because they're just trying to run away from the pain. They've got to go within to correct it. But they don't want to do that. They're too weak. They're too lazy. They'd rather just pretend. So again, this is it. The creepiest thing about narcissists. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you found it helpful. The likes do help the YouTube algorithm. It does help to get this message out there so that other people can see it as well. So show your support, give it a thumbs up. Let's work together to make people aware of this. And also I have changed my AdSense. It's in the process of being accepted. And during this time I'm not earning any income, even while I'm making these videos. So I greatly appreciate your donations, which you can make through my PayPal, which is paypal.me/Narc Survivor. I appreciate all donations, no matter how small. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. Click all notifications. And then you will be notified when I go live again. For one-on-one coaching, you can book on my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And follow me on my Instagram. I've just been posting some quotes today. Very motivating, very inspiring, and very resonant for those who have gone through narcissistic abuse. So do follow me on Instagram as well. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. Thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video. And I will talk to you soon.